There are moments in history when the universe sends us a message, and we're forced to ask whether we're truly alone. On August 15th, 1977, at exactly 10:16 p.m. Eastern Time, the Big Ear radio telescope in Ohio detected something that should not have existed. A powerful narrowband radio signal, 30 times stronger than background noise, emanating from the constellation Sagittarius. The frequency was 1420 megahertz, the exact wavelength of neutral hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe, and the frequency any intelligent civilization would logically use to announce itself to the cosmos. Astronomer Jerry Emin was reviewing the computer printout a few days later when he saw the intensity reading. 6EQUJ5. A signal so powerful, so perfectly aligned with expectations for extraterrestrial contact, that he circled it and wrote one word in the margin. Wow. For 72 seconds, humanity received what appeared to be a deliberate transmission from deep space. Then it vanished. Despite decades of follow-up observations, despite pointing every major radio telescope on Earth back toward those same coordinates in Sagittarius, the signal never repeated. It became the most famous unsolved mystery in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The WOW signal. And now, 48 years later, something is approaching from the exact same region of space. On July 1st, 2025, the Atlas Survey Telescope in Chile detected an object moving through our solar system at nearly 60 kilometers per second. This wasn't an asteroid. It wasn't space debris. The trajectory analysis revealed something astronomers had only seen twice before in human history. This object came from interstellar space, from beyond our solar system, from the stars. They designated it 3I/Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar visitor to ever cross our cosmic doorstep. But here's where the story stops being routine science and starts becoming something else entirely. When astronomers traced the trajectory of 3I/Atlas backward through space, calculating where it had come from, where it had traveled for potentially billions of years before arriving here, they found something that sent a chill through the astronomical community. 3I/Atlas originated from the direction of Sagittarius, the same constellation, the same region of space that transmitted the WOW signal in 1977. Coincidence? Perhaps. But there's more. Much more. As 3I/Atlas hurtles toward the inner solar system, moving faster than any comet humanity has ever tracked, it's exhibiting behavior that defies every model we have for how comets should act. When the world's most powerful telescopes turned toward it in September 2025, they observed something that no comet should be capable of producing. A vivid, aggressive green glow bursting from its coma, spreading across space like a beacon demanding to be seen. Normally, a green glow around a comet is perfectly understood. It comes from diatomic carbon, C2 molecules, breaking apart in sunlight. We see it all the time. It's textbook science. But when spectroscopic analysis examined the light from 3I/Atlas, searching for the chemical signature that creates that green color, they found something impossible. The diatomic carbon that should be there, that must be there to create that glow, is almost completely absent. The chemistry that creates the green light doesn't exist in sufficient quantities to explain what we're seeing. The object glows green, but the molecules that create green glow aren't there. So, what is making it shine? On October 7th, 2025, the Perseverance rover on Mars captured something extraordinary. As 3I/Atlas made its closest approach to the red planet, passing just 28 million kilometers away, Perseverance's navigation cameras recorded 9 minutes of the Martian night sky. When those images were processed into a time-lapse sequence, a razor-thin streak appeared, cutting across the star field at exactly the predicted speed and direction of 3I/Atlas. This was the first time an interstellar object had been photographed from the surface of another planet. The first time humanity had visual confirmation of a visitor from beyond our solar system captured not from Earth, but from Mars. But more importantly, it confirmed that 3I/Atlas is real. It's not a data artifact. It's not a misidentified asteroid. It's a physical object moving through our solar system on a trajectory that will bring it to its closest point to the Sun on October 29th, 2025. And here's the critical detail. From October 21st through early November, 3I/Atlas will pass directly behind the Sun as seen from Earth. Solar conjunction. It will be invisible to ground-based telescopes, hidden in the glare of our star, unreachable by conventional observation. Right now, as you're watching this video, 3I/Atlas is behind the Sun. We can't see it. We can't track it. We can only calculate where it should be based on orbital mechanics. For the next several weeks, this interstellar visitor from the direction of the WOW signal will be alone with the Sun, passing through perihelion at 126 million miles from our star, closer than Earth's orbit, moving at its maximum velocity of 68 kilometers per second. What happens during that time? What are we missing while it's hidden from view? Let's talk about what makes 3I/Atlas genuinely strange. Not sensational strange. Scientifically strange. First, the chemistry. Spectroscopic observations from multiple observatories, including Hubble Space Telescope data released in August 2025, confirmed that 3I/Atlas is leaking water vapor at an extraordinary rate. The technical description used by researchers is like a fire hose running at full blast. For a comet that size, approximately 2 to 3 kilometers in diameter, the outgassing rate is far higher than models predict. But here's the anomaly. That water vapor is carrying nickel and iron atoms, vaporized metals that should only appear when a comet gets extremely close to the Sun and heats to temperatures that break down rock and metal. 3I/Atlas is showing this activity at 1.36 astronomical units from the Sun, outside Earth's orbit, far too distant for those temperatures. Even more bizarre, the nickel appears without the expected ratio of iron. In stellar and planetary formation, nickel and iron are chemically bound together, forged in supernova explosions, always present in predictable ratios. But 3I/Atlas shows nickel concentrations that don't match standard stellar chemistry. It's as if this object formed in a star system with different chemical rules. An alien chemistry. Second, the motion. 3I/Atlas is moving in a nearly perfect retrograde orbit, tilted 175 degrees relative to the plane of our solar system. It's coming in backward, against the flow of planetary motion, which is exactly what you'd expect from an interstellar object not bound by our Sun's gravitational influence. But the trajectory is eerily stable. Most comets tumble, their rotation chaotic and irregular. 3I/Atlas appears to be moving with deliberate smoothness, its path calculated with precision through the inner solar system. It came within 28 million kilometers of Mars on October 3rd. It will pass 97 million kilometers from Venus on November 3rd. It will approach Jupiter at 54 million kilometers on March 16, 2026. These are not random flybys. The trajectory threads through the planetary system with mathematical elegance, passing close enough to major worlds to be observed, but not close enough to be significantly perturbed by their gravity. Third, the H. A study published in July 2025 by astronomers Matthew Hopkins and Daryl Seligman estimated that 3I/Atlas is between 7 and 14 billion years old. That means this object could be older than our solar system itself, older than Earth, older than the Sun. It may be the oldest comet humanity has ever observed, a time capsule from the early Milky Way, formed when the galaxy was young and the universe looked radically different than it does today. When astronomers traced its trajectory backward through 10 million years of galactic motion using data from the European Space Agency's Gaia mission, they found something unsettling. 3I/Atlas didn't have any close encounters with nearby stars that could explain its current path. No gravitational slingshots. No stellar flybys. Nothing that would account for how it was ejected from its home system and sent on a journey toward our Sun. It's as if it simply appeared in interstellar space billions of years ago and has been traveling in this direction ever since. One researcher described it as following a trajectory consistent with ejection from a primordial planetary disk in an early formed star system, or possibly from an exoort cloud surrounding a star that may no longer exist. Its origin, the study concluded, remains undisclosed. Which brings us back to the WOW signal. On August 15th, 1977, the Big Ear telescope detected that 72-second transmission from coordinates in Sagittarius. The signal's location was recorded with precision. Right ascension 19 hours 25 minutes 31 seconds, declination negative 26 degrees 57 minutes. That's the positive horn reading. The negative horn, scanning a slightly different region, recorded right ascension 19 hours 28 minutes 22 seconds, same declination. When astronomers calculated the origin trajectory of 3I/Atlas, tracing its path backward through interstellar space, they found that it came from the direction of Sagittarius. Not precisely the same coordinates as the WOW signal, space is vast and trajectories shift over time, but from the same general region of the Milky Way. Sagittarius is home to the galactic center, the supermassive black hole around which our entire galaxy rotates. It's also home to dense star fields, ancient globular clusters, and the transition zone between the thin disk and thick disk of the Milky Way, where the oldest stars in our galactic neighborhood reside. If an advanced civilization wanted to send a probe into interstellar space to explore neighboring star systems, to gather data on planetary formation, to search for signs of life, Sagittarius would be an ideal launching point, close to the galactic center. Access to ancient stellar populations, a region rich in heavy elements forged in countless supernovae. And if that civilization wanted to announce the probe's approach, to send a signal ahead of its arrival, they would use the hydrogen line, 1420 MHz, the universal frequency, the wavelength any technological species would monitor. The WOW signal was transmitted in 1977. 3I/Atlas is arriving in 2025, 48 years later. Traveling at interstellar velocities, even at 60 kilometers per second, crossing the distance from Sagittarius to our solar system would take millions of years. So the timing doesn't align if we assume the signal and the object are directly connected. Unless the signal wasn't a greeting, unless it was a course correction beacon, a navigational ping, a confirmation from the probe that it had detected our radio transmissions, our television broadcasts, the electromagnetic noise that's been radiating from Earth since the 1930s and was adjusting its trajectory accordingly. In that scenario, the WOW signal wasn't aimed at Earth. It was aimed back toward its origin. A status update transmitted home. We detected intelligent life. We are approaching. And 48 years later, here it is. Now, before we go further, let's be absolutely clear about what we're saying and what we're not saying. We are not claiming 3I/Atlas is an alien spacecraft. We are not asserting that the WOW signal was a deliberate communication from an extraterrestrial civilization. The scientific community has proposed multiple natural explanations for both phenomena, and extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. What we are saying is this: the coincidences are piling up. The trajectory from Sagittarius, the anomalous chemistry, the green glow without the molecules that create green glows, the age suggesting it predates our solar system, the stable, almost deliberate motion through the inner planets, the timing of its arrival decades after the most famous potential alien signal in history. Any one of these facts in isolation is interesting but explainable. Together, they form a pattern that demands serious investigation. And that's exactly what's happening. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office has been tracking 3I/Atlas since its discovery. The European Space Agency's Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, known as JUICE, is scheduled to observe the comet in November 2025 as it departs the inner solar system. JUICE will use its cameras, spectrometers, and particle sensors to analyze the composition of 3I/Atlas in unprecedented detail. The Hubble Space Telescope has already captured high-resolution images, revealing the comet's nucleus size, approximately 2 to 3 kilometers across, larger than most predictions. Ground-based observatories across the globe are coordinating observation campaigns to track changes in brightness, outgassing rates, and spectroscopic signatures as the comet's distance from the Sun changes. And when 3I/Atlas emerges from behind the sun in early November, visible again in the pre-dawn sky as it heads toward its December closest approach to Earth at 269 million kilometers, every major telescope on the planet will be watching. Because here's the critical question. If this is a natural comet, then why is its chemistry wrong? Why does it glow green without the molecules that create green glows? Why is the nickel to iron ratio inconsistent with stellar formation models? Why is it outgassing water at rates far exceeding what its size and distance from the sun should allow? Natural comets don't behave this way. We've studied hundreds of them. We understand their physics, their chemistry, their behavior as they approach the sun, and their volatile ices sublimate into space. 3I/Atlas is breaking the rules. And if it's not a natural comet, then what is it? The most conservative scientific explanation is that 3I/Atlas formed in a star system with different chemical abundances than our sun. Perhaps a system where supernova enrichment created unusual concentrations of specific elements. Perhaps a system where planetary formation processes were fundamentally different, leading to planetesimals with exotic chemistry. This is plausible. We know that star systems vary widely in their elemental composition. We know that the Milky Way's thick disk, where 3I/Atlas may have originated, contains older stars with lower metallicity, different chemical fingerprints than our sun. But that explanation struggles to account for the green glow without diatomic carbon. It struggles to explain the extreme water outgassing. It struggles with the stable trajectory through the planetary system. Another hypothesis, proposed in a September 2025 study by planetary scientists Suzanne Falsner and Michelle Bannister, suggests that 3I/Atlas may be a planetary seed, a massive chunk of primordial material ejected from a forming planetary system billions of years ago, before planets fully coalesced. In this model, 3I/Atlas is a fragment of a failed planet, carrying the chemical signature of incomplete differentiation, which might explain its unusual composition. This is elegant. It fits the age estimates. It accounts for the large size and high outgassing rates. But it still doesn't explain the green glow chemistry problem. Then there's the hypothesis that no mainstream scientist will state publicly, but many discuss privately. What if 3I/Atlas isn't entirely natural? What if it's a hybrid? A natural comet nucleus deliberately modified, coated, or equipped with materials that alter its spectroscopic signature. What if the green glow isn't from sublimating ice, but from something else? A marker? A signal? This veers into speculation. But it's speculation grounded in a simple observation. If an advanced civilization wanted to send a probe that could survive millions or billions of years in interstellar space, they wouldn't build a metal spacecraft. Metal corrodes. Electronics fail. Complex machinery breaks down. But a comet? A comet is self-repairing. Ice sublimates and reforms. The nucleus is protected by layers of dust and volatiles. It carries its own propulsion system in the form of outgassing jets. And it's invisible to most detection systems until it's already in the inner solar system. If you wanted to explore the galaxy, you wouldn't send a starship. You'd send a comet, or something disguised as one. Right now, 3I/Atlas is behind the sun, hidden, unreachable, passing through perihelion at its closest point to our star. What's happening during that time? Is it simply following Newtonian mechanics, obeying gravity and inertia like every other object in the solar system? Or is something else occurring? Is it transmitting data, collecting samples, performing observations that require proximity to a star? We won't know until it emerges in early November. And when it does, the scientific community will be watching with instruments more sensitive than anything used on previous interstellar visitors. Because if 3I/Atlas is natural, we need to understand why it defies our models. We need to revise our theories of cometary chemistry, planetary formation, and stellar evolution to account for objects like this. And if it's not natural, if there's even a fractional possibility that this object carries deliberate modification or serves a purpose beyond random cosmic wandering, then humanity needs to know that too. The implications are staggering. If 3I/Atlas is connected to the WOW signal, if both are components of a coordinated effort to explore our region of space, then we are not alone. And whoever sent this probe did so billions of years ago, with technology capable of interstellar travel, with patience spanning geological epochs, with an interest in civilizations like ours. The WOW signal was detected in 1977. Carl Sagan was still alive. Voyager 1 and 2 were just beginning their journeys to the outer planets. The internet didn't exist. Mobile phones didn't exist. Humanity was broadcasting radio and television into space, announcing its presence to anyone listening. And someone or something heard us. 48 years later, as we stand on the edge of becoming a multiplanetary species, as our technology accelerates toward artificial intelligence and quantum computing, as we prepare to return to the moon and send humans to Mars, an interstellar visitor arrives from the direction of that signal. Is it bringing a message? Is it here to observe? Is it simply a cosmic coincidence, a natural object from the depths of space that happens to share a point of origin with the most famous radio anomaly in history? We don't know yet, but we're about to find out. Because 3I/Atlas will continue through our solar system for the next several months. It will pass Earth in December. It will approach Jupiter in March 2026. And every day, every observation, every spectroscopic reading, every image captured from Mars rovers and space telescopes and ground-based observatories will add to the data set. Science is not about believing. It's about observing, measuring, testing hypotheses against evidence. And the evidence so far suggests that 3I/Atlas is not behaving like any comet we've ever studied. The green glow without the chemistry, the water outgassing at impossible rates, the nickel without iron, the trajectory from Sagittarius, the age older than our solar system, the stable motion through the planetary zone. These are facts, not speculation, not conspiracy theories. Facts recorded by NASA, ESA, Hubble, and dozens of research institutions worldwide. What those facts mean is still being determined. But here's what we know for certain. For 48 years, the WOW signal has been the greatest mystery in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. A 72-second transmission from Sagittarius that promised contact and then vanished into silence. And now, from the same region of space, comes an object older than Earth, moving with precision through our solar system, exhibiting chemistry that defies explanation, hidden behind our sun at the exact moment when observations would be most valuable. The universe doesn't usually offer coincidences this profound. When patterns emerge, when data points align, when mysteries from different decades suddenly converge on a single event, science demands investigation. 3I/Atlas is behind the sun right now, in the dark, beyond reach. But in a few weeks, it will emerge. And when it does, we'll learn whether this visitor from the stars is a natural comet carrying alien chemistry from a distant stellar nursery, or whether it's something else. Something that heard us in 1977 and decided to come see who is calling. The WOW signal asked a question. Is anyone out there? 3I/Atlas might be the answer. Arriving 48 years later, from the exact same direction. We're about to find out if we're alone. And the answer is currently hidden behind the sun, waiting for November, when the truth will finally emerge from the cosmic shadows and humanity will have to decide what to do with the knowledge that someone, or something, may have been listening all along. The question is no longer whether we're alone in the universe. The question is whether we're ready for the answer.